What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are at Omaha Eppley Airfield for the 13th airport update for the month of June 2025. We've got our Philly service, the new service that has started here for Omaha, and we also have a lot of charters, once again for the Men's College World Series, which I'm going to make an annual thing moving forward with the Omaha airport updates. So I'll cover those every June since that's always such a big scene in the Omaha area and for college baseball. So go ahead and get started with the A gates like we always do, and today we've got Frontier at A1, parked here a couple of times, and I've had it in a few updates as well. And of course all the gate positions are still different amid the ongoing construction for the revamped terminal. We have this Frontier A320neo coming in from Orlando as flight 4629, and this arrived in at 10:23 a.m., delayed for a 10:17 a.m. scheduled arrival. The commercial flights in this update are from Monday, June 9th, so just something to keep in mind here as we go through this update. The next few airport updates are going to be with schedules from early to mid-June, since obviously Airliners International is coming up and I'm going to be flying down there, so I'll need that extra time to get everything pre-recorded, and then probably a little bit into July as well if I've got time, so that I can stay ahead of the curve on my regular content and get a good focus on all of the airliners content when I get back. Moving to Gate A2, we have our Delta section with 4 aircraft, all but one are of Delta connection. We start off with the Embraer 170 from Washington Reagan as flight 5608. This is a Republic flight. This arrived in at 9:28 a.m. ahead of a scheduled 9:56 a.m. arrival. And then, of course, fitting for airliners, as I just mentioned it there a second ago, we have the mainline flight from Atlanta, the A319 for today, one of the 3 or so daily that they have as of right now. This arrived in as flight 2632 in the morning at 9:31 a.m. So looking good there for that morning arrival. And then we move to the CRJ 900 here at A4. This ride in from Minneapolis is flight 5181, operated by Endeavor at 12:13 p.m. Ahead of a scheduled 12:32 p.m. arrival. And then we'll swing the camera around to the Embraer 175 at A5 today. I've got the jet bridge extended this time. Definitely difficult with the position that I have the gate markings at, so just have to make it work. In this case, this aircraft came in from Salt Lake City as flight 3896, a SkyWest service arriving in at 4:59 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 5:16 p.m. arrival. And then we move into our American section, which will be a bit quiet. I don't have the Alaska service in there again because they're still using the MAX 9 with the regular livery and also the 900, so I still need to get one of those, and I'll be on the lookout for one at Airliners. So hopefully I am able to come across one, since I know they are very difficult. So I do kindly ask that someone like Gemini Jets or even NG, if they were a little more reliable with their US releases, I would kindly ask for them to make another release of it. So we'll see what happens in the future, but obviously the whole NG deal, that is a video for another time, and I don't know if I'll get time to make one. When we move on to the American section with our sole mainline aircraft, another 319 here from Phoenix Sky Harbor. This arrived in as flight 2203 at 4:57 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 5:17 p.m. arrival. Then we move into our new Philadelphia service, which we're skipping over a gate since there wasn't too many American aircraft on the schedule that I could put at the individual gates that they have here at the A gate. So this is what we got for the CRJ 900, the PSA operated one from Philly, the new service that started up in early June, so a couple weeks ago now. Been great to see this expansion over to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, as they call it, or if you're a football fan, you'll probably know the term the brotherly shove as well, or more popularly the tush push. So, and there's some other terminologies there, but anyway, we've got the CRJ 900 arriving in as flight 5103, and this arrived in at 12:58 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 1:05 p.m. arrival. I'll do my route roundup for all of our A gate operations in just a moment once we get to this Embraer 175. This is our LAX service arriving in as flight 6506. That is probably, that is the highest SkyWest flight number I've seen yet. We'll see if that continues to climb. This arrived in at 5:43 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 5:52 p.m. arrival. So getting a good look at all of these services that we have here, I definitely want to highlight the Orlando service on Frontier. That right now is twice weekly, Sunday and Thursday, predominantly on the A320neo. And then July, no major changes there heading into that month. And then for some of the Delta services, I know we had the Minneapolis one in there. Looks like it'll be 4 to 5 daily CRJ 900s through the rest of June. And then heading into July, it will drop to about 3 to 4, but around 5 heading towards the end of the month. Then we had our Washington Reagan service in there as well. Still the 6 weekly Embraer 170 service does not operate on Saturdays, and it looks like on Independence Day that service will also be inoperative as well. And then moving to our American services, I'll actually do a couple more of the Delta services real quick. So we've got Detroit in here. That'll be 3 to 4 daily CRJ 900s, and that will be the same case heading into July here. Definitely want to get ATL highlighted as well. And that is all mainline through the rest of June with 4 to 5 daily services on a mixture of the A319, A320, and then a couple 717s that scoot into the schedule as well. So that's where we stand with our Delta and Frontier service there. And then we'll check out some of the American services. So Phoenix in this case, 2 daily 319s through June and into July. And then that Philadelphia service, as I mentioned, brand new to the network. That will be 2 daily CRJ 900s, the PSA ones, through the next couple of months. So good to see the consistency there to start with regards to that service. And then moving into other places, we have like Charlotte, for example. That will be 2 to 3 daily mainline, 738, 1A319 in there as well. And then DFW will have plenty of mainline to go about, upwards of about 5 or 6 daily, which is a really good frequency to have. And then, yeah, Salt Lake for Delta, I don't think I've highlighted that yet. Nope, I have not. That'll be 2 daily SkyWest 175s through the next 2 months. So that's where we stand with our services here at the A gates. We'll check out the B gates, where we've got a good lineup for United, Allegiant, and Southwest. Starting off here at the B gates, we've got another appearance with the Embraer 175 on the off-centered gate placement that I have here, trying to somewhat replicate how it is in real life with the construction, since the actual, to-scale spot is taken up by the ongoing construction here. In this case, this is not a San Francisco service. We've got the Chicago O'Hare SkyWest service this time, flight 5737, and this is arriving in just under 40 minutes behind schedule at 11:36 p.m. And that is the case for the next United flight. We've got the 320 in this case. So we'll have all Airbuses for the main line in this update. No Boeing main line, with the, of course, exception of Southwest, but then that's all main line, so that's redundant to say. But for the legacy carriers, we don't have any Airbuses in this update, which I think is a first. I don't think I've ever had that happen, but if there's anyone out there that keeps track of what aircraft I use, it's probably, I've tried to do it for a while, but I only have like through 2021 that I've kept track of what models I've used and what updates. And since I've got so many now, it's impossible for me to get caught up. But anyways, we've got the A320 EVA Blue parked here at Bravo 12. This ride in from Houston, George Bush. That's flight 1216, another delayed flight. This one is a 35-minute delay, arriving in at the top of the hour at 11 p.m. Also, one of the other uniquely registered A320s, they've got a couple of those in their fleet where they're a bit out of sequence with some of the other ones. But we do have Stars and Bars coming back, the special retro A320. This did get repainted a little while ago, but it was just given a fresh coat of paint, and the registration was also modified. They've moved it ahead of that rear boarding door. So you can see on the Gemini model, that's where the registration is printed at. That's how it was at the time that they released this, but when they took it in to repaint it, they moved the registration up to put it more in line with the rest of United's fleet. It's the same thing that they did with the Continental Retro on the 739. They did give it a fresh coat of paint, and then they just redid the registration font a little bit. So pretty minute changes in the grand scheme of things, but just something to note. But at least for me personally, that's not going to affect the status of this model in my collection, since this livery is still prominent across the board. So this ride in from Chicago O'Hare as flight 247 at 2:08 p.m. It'll be scheduled 2:24 p.m. arrival. Always nice to get the Stars and Bars Retro a place in an airport update, since it's not often that I have seen this aircraft on the schedule or even have spotted it. I've only spotted it once. That was on my first airliner show in Chicago, which is where I got that model. Of coincidentally. I think I bought it probably the day before, or even the day of when I spotted it, because we had that little spotting meetup on Friday night, I remember. Moving to B15, we have our Allegiant gate. In this case, we have the A320 from Orlando Sanford. This arrived in as flight 2847. Another delayed flight, in this case by about 34 minutes, arriving at 9:24 a.m. So we've got a few of those delays just taking place here throughout the schedule. There's been a lot of storms recently, so I know Denver especially has been hit pretty often with some storms, but it looks like the weather's going to clear here in the next few days, which is good to see. So hopefully we don't have any major disruptions over there moving forward. We've got a full-on Army for our Southwest section here. All of the different Southwest types, including this different split version 737-700s, they are all being featured here in this update, which I try to do just to ensure that I get the maximum variety for the Southwest services here. So I'll start with B16 with the 738. This is a Denver flight arriving in as flight 1051. This is delayed by 35 minutes, arriving in at 7:45 p.m. And then this 737-700 blended winglets came in from Chicago Midway as flight 3530. This is only delayed by 22 minutes, arriving at 4:22 p.m. And then we have the split version, the Gemini release, 700S from Orlando International as flight 1943. Only delayed by 2 minutes at 3:17 p.m. it arrived in. And then we have another Chicago Midway flight right below that with this MAX 8. This arrived into the overnight hours of Monday, June 9th. So I said initially that was when I had the flight, so I meant Sunday, June 8th. So that's my apologies there. This arrived in at 12:24 a.m., so this is a delay of about, would that be like 30-ish minutes or so, or close to 40 minutes. I think like 39 minutes is the delay that we have here. So there's all the aircraft we have at the Bgates. Good mix for the United operations and then Allegiant and Southwest, just to name a few. And we'll check out some of those services on our route roundup. Starting with Denver, we've got a good mix of the 737s on main lines and some Airbuses, along with one Embraer 175 aircraft mixed into the schedule. And then for United out of Chicago, pretty much the same mix with the different main lines, and then the singular 175. Actually, there's a couple where it's 2 daily to replace some other mainline frequencies. And then we have New York LaGuardia on American. Did not mention this yet, but this is a 1 daily Embraer 175 with a couple of days where it's 2 daily. And then as for some of the other services that we have, I'll try to, let me get to San Francisco real quick since I didn't have it in this month's update. Still 1 daily, no change there. And then I'll try to get to some of the Allegiant services since I've got quite a few here. Los Angeles, that will be twice weekly, Wednesday, Saturday. Vegas is also twice weekly, that's Monday, Friday. And then there's a San Diego listed there for Southwest. Again, that starts around Thanksgiving. And then Austin is also there as well still, so no changes there. And then getting to Destin, we have a Monday, Friday frequency as well. And then the service that we did have in here, Orlando Sanford, that's 3 weekly with a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday frequency. St. Petersburg is 4 weekly with Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Sarasota, Monday, Friday. And then there's also a couple Tampa flights in here as well for Southwest. So that is a Saturday only frequency through August. So did not catch that initially when I was putting together this update, but back to our Allegiant services, we have Wednesday, Saturday for Punta Gorda. And then the Miami, oh yeah, we've got the 1 daily 319 that'll start in November, seasonal service. And then we've also got some Fort Lauderdale services in January. So the 10th, 17th, and 24th, all 3 of those days, those are Saturdays. It is a MAX 8. Pretty interesting there. So one of these little like one-off services, or not necessarily one-offs, just like 3 flights that they're operating there in that regard. And then St. Louis, 2 daily on Southwest. Midway, good mixture between about 4 and 5 daily. And then, oh yeah, Phoenix Mesa for Allegiant. That'll be Sunday, Thursday there as well. And then Seattle for Alaska, since I didn't have it in there, I'll just quickly mention it. 2 daily Alaska 737s. Some days it's both MAX 9s and then one MAX 9 and one 739. So that's what we're going to work with here in this case. But now let's move on to a separate piece that I have set up since I don't have enough room this year on this version of the diorama that I have. We'll check out all of the charters for this update. Welcome to this makeshift diorama for our Men's College World Series charters. We've got 8 teams once again, but only 7 aircraft since I wasn't able to verify a charter for one of the teams in this case. But as we go through this, I'll go ahead and just go over the teams that are in the Men's College World Series for 2025. 8 great baseball teams, it looks like. I don't follow much of college baseball, so I don't know too much about like their stats and all that, but I'm not going to go over all the intricate details with the teams, since I'll just focus on the charters here. So as we take a look at the bracket, we've got our teams in this case, and on your screen now, this is the bracket, at least when I initially put this video together, but there has been a slight change to it since I last checked it. Arizona has been eliminated with, looks like Louisville moving on there in bracket 1. And then Oregon State, Coastal Carolina, they haven't yet had any losses. Arkansas with 1 loss, LSU, UCLA don't have a loss, and then Murray State. So there's all the teams that we have in the Men's College World Series this year. And now I'll go ahead and cycle through all the flights. The graphics will show up on your screen as to each of the teams that are playing and where they came from. So the first one, the Allegiant A320, one of the first ones there, that was from Los Angeles, and I believe that one is the one that carried the UCLA Bruins. Then we have another A320 from Paducah, Kentucky, and I believe this is the one that carried, this is the one that carried Murray State since they're nearby. Then we have another Allegiant aircraft, a couple 319s. First one is from Bentonville, Arkansas, and that one carried the Arkansas Razorbacks. Then we have the second A319 from Louisville, and this one carried the Louisville Cardinals, there in the name. And then our 3 Sun Country charters that we have, one from Baton Rouge, that one carried the LSU Tigers since, their campus is in town. And then the second one, the Blue 738, that one is from Myrtle Beach, and that one carried Coastal Carolina here. And then the second Tide Pod one, that one came from Eugene, Oregon, carrying the Oregon State Beavers. And then for the Wildcat fans, if I have any watching, I'm sorry I couldn't verify a charter aircraft for your guys' baseball team to the Men's College World Series, but if you do have that information, feel free to drop a comment, and I'll certainly put you up there at the top there so that other viewers can see what was going on with that. But I tried checking, like out of Phoenix and even Tucson and all that, I couldn't find anything, so unfortunately your team got left out in this case. Just like how the first one to be eliminated for the Men's College World Series, unfortunately. That's kind of that's very ironic in this case. But there we go. The nice way to wrap up this month's update with the Men's College World Series charters, and it will definitely become an annual staple for the Omaha Airport updates, is to certainly cover these, since it is quite a big event within college baseball, obviously, since it's the end of their season, which is a bit interesting. They end their series in June. They end their season in June, rather, unlike the major and minor leagues, which end in the fall. And, for Major League, the World Series is late October to about early November, typically. And for college baseball, they operate the season a little differently. But I think it probably should be in line with the minor league and major league seasons, but I'm sure how they run things with college baseball is probably fine just the way it is, so, can't do anything with that there. But that'll do it for this month's Omaha Eppley Airfield update. A great update for sure, with of course, the Men's College World Series charters and a plethora of other fun developments with the new Philadelphia service starting, the United Stars and Bars making another appearance, and a good mixture of aircraft throughout this update. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and more exciting content is on the way as we exit June. We're in the final days here coming up in the next couple weeks. We'll move on into July, and that is where the fun will really begin. So stay tuned for what's coming. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.